Alrighty, how's everyone doing this morning? Sorry, can you guys hear me and see my screen? I just was doing had a little bit of technical difficulties right there, but we should be good. Someone said I want to be first to comment, so good morning. Yeah, what's up, everyone? Man, Mr. RG, Michael, James, Ashcon, Fred, Royal, Sebastian. Yeah, what's up? Okay, yeah. Let's go over a decent amount of charts here. We have red folder. So today it's an interesting day because we have basically a half day today. We have a half day and then we have a bank holiday tomorrow. Sound and video good? Alrighty. Yeah, so let's just get right into the charts. So yeah, so for ES, I kind of talked about this key level, right? It's still holding this key level, right? Yesterday, I didn't really have too much of a bias. I wasn't really long bias or short bias, right? I was kind of just neutral yesterday, right? We're holding this level. We really came back into these down close candles. After really this double top that it made on Friday, I didn't really have too much of a bias coming into the markets. But you can see we still ended up holding this level, right? This is your key level, right? Your previous really resistance level now acting as support. And you can see price, I mentioned that as long as it holds this level, right, we're going to gravitate back towards the upside. And you can see price ended up holding this level right off the gates. It almost wicked underneath, right? We almost had a candle closure underneath this level, and then we ended up gravitating back towards the upside. And we ended up having actually a really nice move. I wasn't really expecting this back towards the upside, but you can see once we got over really your previous day highs, right? Your previous day highs, key level, this level as well. So you can kind of draw this out. Once we end up having like a strong candle closure above this level, you had that nice pushback really towards not all-time highs, but very key levels all the way back here for the ES, right? NQ, very similar, basically almost back towards that all-time highs level, very close. You can see NQ, very similar. I mentioned that this is your key level, this is your 1 hour order block, right? If it holds this, it's going to gravitate back towards the upside. If it breaks underneath, right, we're going to push lower. You can see price ends up holding this 1 hour order block very nicely. Also holds this key level, which is your 19903 level. I've been talking about this level for like almost a week or so now, so you guys should understand that this is your key level, right? Your 19903. I kind of mark out the same levels every single day. So 19903, very key level. Now the levels you want to have marked out is this key pivot high back from Friday, and of course you want to have your all-time highs marked out as well. Why is it called red folder? Those are the ones just have high impact news on Forex Factory. Red folder, high impact news. So those are the ones you have to worry about. The other there's like orange folder and yellow folder. Those ones really don't impact the market too much. Tesla broke out of its 3-year downtrend in pre-market. Crazy. Yeah, on Tesla, absolutely insane. I have a decent amount of shares on my long-term account, so I'm up very nicely. I have like a 178 average, and this thing's absolutely I never thought it would, once it would break out, I didn't think it was gonna launch. I thought it was gonna have a big move, but I wasn't expecting almost 30% move, and I'll take it though. I'm actually up a decent amount on the long term. How are key levels already marked out? It's the feature. Is this a feature in tool? No, I have these marked now. These levels are just marked out from, these are just older levels. I've been having these marked out for a very long time now. But if I was to redo the levels, it would be the exact same levels. Key level, right? This low from here, that reclaim level. There's not too many levels on the ES and NQ. These are just some of the levels I've been marked out for a very long time. So these levels are still intact. We're still inside this dealing range. So that's why I still have these levels, and I'm still going to use these levels because they're still valid, right? Until it breaks above, then we could draw new levels, but these are the exact same new levels. In between these, right, the top and the bottom, really, there's not any key levels to really mark out, right? These are just the levels I have for the ES. Red folder can easily move the market. That is correct. I got it. Same reason fire engines are, can't really see that, are something. Something's blocking it. Fire engines are red, yeah. All right. Okay, so yeah, ES and Q, really same game plan. Still, as long as it holds this key level, which it's currently doing, on on ES and NQ, right? As long as it holds this level, I'm still very much bullish, right? You can see that's why we're gravitating towards this all-time highs level, right? I kind of expect market to gravitate towards this all-time highs level. NQ, same as well, right? I expect it to kind of gravitate towards this all-time highs level. For today, I don't really expect too much happen today because it is a half day, so I will see if price does want to gravitate potentially towards that all-time highs level. I don't really expect it to. We'll see. Right, we'll have this level marked out, which is your Friday's high. If price closes a candle above this 2274, right, we potentially can use this as a retest for a move higher. Right, that'll be really the push towards that all-time highs. So we'll see if we can have a strong candle closure above this level, really use this as a retest for a move towards the upside. I think price is really not going to do too much. I think it might just consolidate after a big move, and also today being a half day, and then we have a bank holiday tomorrow. So if it does close above 27274, I'll potentially be looking for the retest, but most likely price is just going to consolidate today after a pretty big move yesterday. So let's go on to some of the tech names that I have. So starting off on Meta. So Meta, I talked about really this being your key level, which is your daily down close candle, which is your order block. So this level is still holding. I talked about this level. We should have this level marked out by now for a very long time. It's been valid for a couple weeks now, right? As long as it holds this daily order block, right, we're expecting to gravitate back towards the upside. Right, I talked about if it can hold this level, I kind of like it for a push back up to your 530. So this is what you can see, right? You can see Meta, right? Very strong push into your key level, which is your 500 level or your 498. Right, after it did not hold these key levels, right, it just gravitated down towards its key level, which we've been bouncing off of multiple times, which is your daily order block. You can see price is now reclaiming this key level. So this is your key level, which is your 500. You can see this essentially your flip zone, right? Previous resistance, turn it into support, kind of use this as resistance. Now you want to use this as support. So you kind of want to see price base above this level and then a move back towards the upside. So coming in onto Meta, key levels you're going to have is your previous day high, right? Your previous day high also coincides with your flip zone. So you want to use this level as support for a push back towards the upside, towards 516 and above. You kind of want to see it consolidate and then move back towards the upside on Meta, right? Either way on Meta, on the higher time frames, very much bullish and expect it to gravitate towards that all-time highs level, which is your 530. As long as it holds key levels, which it's doing, I expect it to move higher. Okay, next chart I have, let me just draw this. So next chart I have, this is what it looks like on the daily time frame. On Meta, we have this wedge pattern forming, which is the top of the wedge, and they have the bottom of the wedge as well. You can see multiple touches right here. Bottom of the trend line. So you can see it's forming this wedge on the daily time frame. We're also just right around this key level. So you're 161, 164. It looks like yesterday was the first day we actually had a strong candle closure inside of this level in almost a couple weeks now. You can see all the wicks, right? Wicks, right? We have like 5 wicks not closing above your 161.80. Yesterday, you can see this was the first strong candle closure inside of this key level. So for AMD, first strong candle closure above this level. It looks like it's trying to break this trend line as well. So we'll see if we can have that next leg towards the upside on AMD. If we go into the lower time frames here, what you'll have marked out is your key levels. You'll have this level marked out, which is your 166. You also just have these levels marked out as well. So you'll have your 164, 166, 166.8. You also this level you don't really need now as well. So you can go on to the 5-minute time frame. You can see right, very strong push into really into your level, which is your 161.8, right? This is your key level that we've been using for a while now. What I'd like to see price do is really defend this level coming into the next couple of days, right? This is going to be your key level, your 161.8 level. This is also coincides with their high right here. So as long as price now bases above your 161.8 level, I expect it to gravitate back towards the upside because this is your key level. Every single time you can see when we given up this level, we just had a strong push towards the downside. You can see This is your key level, 161.8. When we gave up this level, it just instantly dropped towards the downside. If you keep going back, right, you can see this is your really key level, multiple touches, right? Never can really have strong candle closures on the higher time frame above this level, but since we have our strong daily candle close above your 161.8 now, you kind of want to use this level as a retest for a push towards the upside, right? That's the level you kind of want to see price bounce off of, is your 161.8. And then potentially, right, if it's super strong, AMD, you want to see break above. This is another scenario as well. So there's two scenarios. Price can either bounce off of your key level and push towards the upside, or price can just gravitate higher above previous day high and then a retest and a move towards that 168 on the higher time frames. Either way, AMD, now the daily is starting to flip bullish. You can see tap at the bottom of the trend line, and now it's trying to break, as I mentioned, the top of the trend line. So if you can have a strong candle closure above, right, you can see potential more momentum towards the upside on AMD. Okay, next charts I have is going to be NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is the one that's actually kind of lagging the market. It's just consolidating, as really a lot of these tickers are moving towards the upside. NVIDIA has really just been consolidating. So after this big move towards the downside, all the way down towards this weekly order block, it tapped the top, which is this 130 level. So it tapped the bottom, tapped the top. It's really just been consolidating for the past week. So it's been consolidating for the past week. It's forming this downtrend. It still has not breaking this downtrend. So for NVIDIA, until it finally breaks this downtrend, that's when we're going to have nice price action. You can see the past really week on NVIDIA, it's been kind of difficult to trade. And we talked about this kind of being the expectation going into this week, because we're still inside this dealing range, right? Anything inside this dealing range is going to kind of be a little bit choppy. So now, right, we have this downtrend break. I personally would have liked to see it reclaim this key level. So this is your key level, right? You can see previous support. It tried using it as a flip zone, essentially support here, right? Trying to use that support for a push towards the upside, really got underneath it. So you can see it's trying to use it as resistance now. So what I'd like to see for NVIDIA, if you do want to see a push towards the upside, is you want to see a reclaim of your key really flip zone, which is right here, right? This is your 123. You kind of want to see it use as support, right? Get back above, break the trend line as well for a push back towards the upside. If you do want to see NVIDIA for a potential long position, that's what you want to see. If I get rid of a couple of this. So yeah, this is really your flip zone that you have. If price can get above this, right, it's going to break this downtrend. It's also going to reclaim a key level, which is your 122.54 level. So if it can break the trend line, reclaim this key level, I expect NVIDIA to end up pushing back towards the upside as well. So coming into today, the only way I would end up playing NVIDIA, if it can reclaim, show strong price action, retest, break this trend line, reclaim this key level, then I'll be looking for a push towards the upside. Okay, yeah. So yeah, key levels marked out is just your 122, and then of course towards your downside, you can have this marked out as well, which is your 120.69. The likes. These guys are always talking about the likes. Good morning. Where can we watch Red Folder News? That's called Forex Factory. I'm sure someone can link it. It's called Forex Factory. Do you cover calls with their long-term portfolio? I never really got into it, the long-term like covered calls or anything. I just kind of have just shares. For how much I trade options, I haven't really got into like the more advanced options. Really the more advanced, like the level 3 type, like selling options. I never really got into it too much. I honestly got to start learning about it more. But I gotta start learning about covered calls and everything like that. I've traded them a couple times, but yeah, it's not really in my system. But I really gotta learn more about that. So Microsoft is the next chart I'm gonna be looking at. Really, it's kind of just stair stepping towards the upside. So it's been just stair stepping towards the upside. We've kind of been talking about this one. Yesterday, we kind of talked about this kind of key level, which is your 154. The level kind of broke down from. I didn't really like the setup too much, just due to the fact that we already took out this liquidity level in the pre-market and the day previous. So I didn't really like it for a move back towards that all-time highs level. But you can see the market was very bullish, and that's why price, right, once it ended up reclaiming this level, you could see in the first 5 minutes tried rejecting it. Once it had that strong candle closure above it, which is right here, right, we had that push towards that all-time highs level. moved decently. Microsoft, not the best mover. You can see it started rejecting this all-time highs level. Also coincides with their 457, kind of rejected off that. And then you can see right at the end of the day, right with that big push, used it as a retest, and then kind of pushed towards the upside. So today, this is kind of going to be your key level. Resistance. Now you kind of want to see this level act as support, and then you want to see that push back towards the upside. So Microsoft, I'm not going to personally trade it, but if you do want to trade it, this is going to be your key level, right? This is going to be your low risk, and then you want to look for that leg back towards the upside. Next chart is going to be Tesla. Good morning. Do you usually day trade or swing trade? I usually day trade. Sometimes I'll swing trade, but majority day trade. Lately, there's been a decent amount of swing opportunities with the markets being at all-time highs and yeah, with the Qs being at all-time highs, a lot of these names are spooling. A lot of these tech names are moving towards all-time highs. There's a lot of good swing opportunities. Can you look at futures, silver futures today, S1 question mark, on TradingView? Yeah, if I have time, I'll take a look at it at the very end. I should have a decent amount of time today. Good morning, everyone. Show us appreciation for Brojack. Smash it. There's Papa. Can we please see the chat when Tony is analysis? Can we please see the chat when Tony is analysis by 9:30? Is it had to listen to his voice only without chat? Can we please? Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. The chat is in that. Either it's in the Zoom or I guess the server's not boosted. So we're going to be back on Zoom again today. I realize the server's not boosted, so that's why that thing's not working. But yeah, we'll be back on Zoom again this morning until it should be fixed. But yeah, I guess we haven't boosted the server. So yeah, Tesla. So Tesla is really, now we have to go back onto the higher time frame. So we'll start off on the weekly chart on Tesla, and this is what we have. If I remove this real quick, this is right here. We have this daily downtrend. So we have this, this weekly trend line, right? This weekly wedge pattern, right? Top of the wedge. And we have the bottom. So we bounced off the bottom right here on the weekly time frame. We formed what's called an inverse head and shoulders. We also had a mini downtrend on the daily chart as well. So that's why we had that nice push really straight towards this key level. Price is absolutely mooning towards the upside. If you go into the daily chart, this is what we have. So we really had this inverse head and shoulders. So you can see this a lot more clearly, right? This is your neckline right here. We also had your downtrend break on the daily chart as well. And that's why we had that nice push towards the upside. We were really using this level as support, right? You can see this flip zone, right? Very key level, right? Use as support, resistance, and then got back above it, started using as support, downtrend as well, started curling, and then that's why we had that push towards the upside. And you'll see a lot of times as well, right? It kind of coincides with these moves will always happen, right? These A+ moves, what will they usually happen with the higher time frames? And you'll usually have some sort of news event as well. Right, you can see we had the delivery numbers usually all kind of coincides with it, and then we have earnings in a few weeks as well, and then that's why we had that nice push towards the upside. It also coincides with that downtrend break. So now for Tesla, now you have to look really left. So for levels now that I have drawn out, I guess you can draw out this key pivot high on the weekly time frame. You can mark out the next key level, which is your 251. You can go back onto the daily chart. So that's just kind of far away, the 241. So you can mark out just like key levels that it's at. So the levels I have marked out, you just even mark at these levels. So if you go back onto the 1 hour time frame now, these are kind of the levels you want to have marked out. You have to go back and look left on the chart on the daily time frame. And of course, if you mark out key levels, you can mark out your previous day high. So your previous day high, then we also have this key level, which is your 235. And then you have 241, and you have 250 on the higher time frames. So realistically, if you're day trading this wise, you kind of want to see price, right? Either a couple scenarios on this one, right? You see price potentially pull all the way back down towards previous day high and bounce. You can potentially see it use this area, which is currently trying to bounce off of, which is your 235 for a push towards the upside. Or you want to see it break above here and push towards the upside. either way on Tesla, right, it is pretty overextended. So if you're trying to day trade this wise, it's going to be a little bit more difficult finding a low risk entry, because you see 1, 2, 3, basically like in the past 5 days, it's up almost, yeah, 5 days, it's almost up 20% in a row day trading wise. If you go into the lower time frames here, yeah, day trading wise, your lowest risk entry is your previous day high. I will see if it could potentially come back down towards this area. I think it's most likely just going to hold your 235 and most likely gravitate higher, but it potentially could come back down and fill this gap and then bounce off this level. Either way, very much bullish on Tesla and expect it to gravitate higher. How often do you trade futures? I haven't traded personally futures. I haven't traded futures at all this. I've traded a decent amount this year, but really this year I've been trading a lot of options. Last year, at the end of last year, I was trading basically futures every day. But this year, there's a lot of opportunities on these tech names. A lot easier to trade with the relative strength. So I've been just trading these tech names. So I haven't really been trading too much futures lately. Is the Discord fixed today? I'm looking at it right now. The server is actually not boosted. So I messaged Tony about it. He said he had the server boosted. He just needs to get the person that actually designed the Discord to boost the server. But I guess they haven't boosted it this morning. So we'll be back on Zoom. Are you looking at SPY calls today? We'll see what we have coming into market open. Usually I'll show you guys my game plan here once I go over all my tickers in a second. What do you look out for when drawing an order block? Just down close candles, and the gist of it is down close candles in an uptrend, but obviously you want to be looking at ones with key levels, multiple touches, and then in the downtrend you want to look for up close candles. But there's more things that go into it. I have a bunch of videos on it and I talk about this all the time. But the ones you always want to look for is the ones that have like multiple confluences. All right. So for Google. So Google is the next chart I'm going to be taking a look at. You guys can mark out this key pivot high. So for Google, you can see our key levels, really your 183 previous all-time highs level. You can see use it as support, really using this as support, downtrend break, kind of push back towards that all-time highs level. So for Google, you can kind of see, right, use this key level, which is your 183, and then you want to mark out your all-time highs, which is your 187. So now for Google, right, this is another level as well. Previous resistance, use as support, basically use this resistance back here. Now you kind of want to use this as support. Key level, your 186 for a pushback towards that all-time highs level on Google. So levels you want to have marked out is your 186.18. And of course, your all-time highs level being that 187.50, and you kind of want to see this used as support for a pushback towards upside. Next chart. So next chart is Netflix. Netflix, I mentioned, still very much bullish, right? Previous support. If it can hold this level, I expect it to gravitate where that all-time highs level at 700. So this is the level you kind of want to watch out for. This is your key level. You can see it bounced off of it very nicely. I've been really talking about these levels, just been using as like support and resistance. So really all these levels drawn out, right? You can see this used as resistance, support at the very bottom. And you can see the middle level, right? Previous resistance, use as support, kind of use this as support right here, use as resistance. Now it's trying to use as support. So a lot of these levels are just really been using as support and resistance. So for Netflix, still very much bullish, which is that 700 level. I kind of want to see this level hold and then a push back towards that all-time highs level on Netflix. Go into the lower time frames, mark out 75, 675, and you can mark out 681 for key levels. So if you want to see a push towards the upside, you either want to see a break and retest of 5-day, or you want to see a potential push back down into your 675 and then a push towards the upside. Can you check over LULU, HL? Yeah, I'll check out those ones in a second. LULU as well. I'll check that out. And then, of course, top watches. I'm going over them right now. You can see Amazon is actually looking really good as well. So, so start off on the daily chart. So Amazon on the daily time frame. So I mentioned this one, right? We had that down close candle. I was kind of expecting a little bit more consolidation on I was expecting a little bit more consolidation after this big push down, but you can see started off the week, we almost reclaimed this key level, and this is the level we talked about, which is your 179. So if you go on to this time frame right here, which is really, this was your key level that I had drawn out, you can see really you have multiple touches. So you can see we tried using a support on this day, right? This is the level I had drawn out, which is your 197. I also mentioned that this was your previous day high. So coming into yesterday, I talked about if it can hold, if it can reclaim above your 186 level, I expect it to gravitate towards that all-time highs level on Amazon. So you can see this is the level high drawn out right off the gates. It kind of was just consolidating underneath our key level, which was your 197. So you can see we're using this level as resistance, right? Got underneath it, used it as resistance, right? Didn't really have that much momentum off it. You can see it was just kind of tapping this level multiple times. It didn't really sell off. It was just kind of holding underneath this level. You can see strong displacement. As soon as we have strong displacement, look at this level used as, now a flip zone, essentially a retest. So previous resistance, breaks above it right here. And you can see it start using as support, right? Taps into it right here, taps into it again. And then you can see we had that push towards the upside and then ended up reclaiming previous day high, right? You can see previous day high reclaimed, and you can see got above, got above. You can see got above here, which is your previous day high. You can see this down close candle now uses support, and then where to launch to? Launch exactly towards that all-time highs level, which is that key level right here, which is your 198. So now price is at all-time highs on Amazon, and you can see right here in the pre-market, right, all-time highs level, price got above it. Now it's trying to use it as support coming to market open. If it holds this level, I expect it to gravitate towards the upside. Breaks below this level, kind of expect it to gravitate lower. I expect it to hold this level coming to market open, so look for that push off this level right here, right? If you're looking to trade this, right, very low risk, right, stop just underneath this level, close underneath this level, and you kind of want to look for that push back towards your previous day high on Amazon, right? This is kind of a textbook opening drive play. This is the kind of this is a name that you want to be looking out for a push back up towards 200 and potentially above on Amazon. Next chart I have is Apple. So Apple, I talked about this yesterday, right, being one of my top watches towards the upside on Apple. I think yesterday the tickers were, I think it was Apple, Amazon, I think it was NVDA. NVIDIA didn't do too much. Or was it Apple? I forget. I remember it was Apple and Amazon and something else. I think it might have been either AMD or NVIDIA. I think it might have been NVIDIA. But Apple, I mentioned yesterday, right, big, huge daily candle on, huge daily candle on Monday. And I mentioned that if you can hold key levels, I expect it to gravitate towards that all-time highs level, right? It has room towards that all-time highs level. If you go into the 5-minute time frame right here, the levels I had marked out on Apple was first I had this key level marked out, which was your 215, and I also had this level marked out, which is your 215.36. This is the level I broke out from yesterday. This is where all the down close candles are as well. You can see right here, touches, right, previous resistance, right, order block as well, right, so use that support. You can see right off market open, price ends up coming back and tapping this level very nicely. You can see it taps this level very nicely. You see the wicks, right, wicks into it, bodies holding very nicely. You see that push towards the upside, and you can see right here where did it gravitate towards? It gravitated towards your previous day high, right? Very nice price action. You can see it starts rejecting it on the 5-minute time frame, and then once you had that candle closure above, that's where you would have drawn out your order block, right? Once you had that candle closure above, you can draw at this down close candle, right? You have that strong candle closure above key level, which is your previous day high, also coincides with your order block. So price comes up, nice order block. This is like a classic order block that you want to see. You can see price is holding it right here, and then ends up gravitating back towards the upside, towards that all-time highs level, which is at 220. So you can see Apple, if you go into lower time frames, very nice price action. Once I reclaimed these key levels, just gravitated towards that all-time highs level, which is 220. So really, that's kind of your main objective on Apple, right? This is your main objective from down here, right? Main objective is really that all-time highs level. So for Apple, it kind of filled majority of its objectives. If you do want to look for potential trade opportunities on Apple now, sorry, let me just clear out a couple levels here. So really, yeah. So Apple hit the all-time highs. This is your main objective. If you go into the lower time frames now, what you want to see, if you want to see price gravitate towards the upside, right, there's a couple trade opportunities. You can look for really a break above your all-time highs level, potential retest and a move towards the upside. You can look for a potential dip and rip towards the all-time highs level. Either way on Apple, you kind of want to see, this all-time highs level used as really support. So you can look for a potential opening drive play on Apple or a break and retest above your 220, right, base above this level, and then push towards the upside on Apple. So that's what I'm going to be looking at coming into today, right? We already met its objective, and we have a short day today. So I'm curious to see if we're going to have more continuation on a couple of these tickers. I expect a lot more consolidation just because we do have a half day. So if you do see that pop, right, the only thing it's going to offer really today is that pop right off the gates, which is that opening drive. So if you see price pop, be patient today, especially because a lot of times I think it'll just kind of pop and kind of consolidate with that half day. So don't look to chase price. If you have a big move right off the gates, be patient. Don't really look to chase price because we do have that half day and we have that bank holiday. So price, either you want to capture that dip and rip down towards 218 for a move towards upside, or you want to capture a potential quick retest off of that all-time highs level for a move towards upside on Apple. So yeah, main watches coming into today. Quickly go over it. Let's just scan a couple of tickers. So for you can see NQ, right, came up to last Friday's high in the pre-market. Now it's kind of having a mini pullback. If you're looking at the 1 hour chart, right, no down close candles, right, your down close candles all the way back here. You kind of have to go into the lower time frames. If you're looking at the 15-minute chart, right, there's really no down close candles as well. So the levels I kind of want to see hold for the QQQ and SPY is really this key level right here, which is your 485. I kind of want to see this level used as really support right off the gates for a push back towards the upside on Qs and SPY as well. So Qs, I kind of want to see this level used as support, right? You can also mark out pre-market levels, which is right here. I kind of want to see price push down, sweep out this level, and then have it bounce back towards the upside. So for ES, really the same thing. If you go into the 1 hour time frame, you can see this is your key level. And then you can mark out really your pre-market lows. So your pre-market lows, this is going to be your key level for ES for a pushback towards the upside. So really what I'm looking at today, there's a couple tickers on the higher time frames, but you have to remember it is a half day, so it's a lot different. But if I was to look at tickers, Meta looks pretty good, basing above your previous day high, also key level as well. AMD, so AMD is going to be one of my main watches coming into today, since it did have that flip it had that strong candle closure above 168. So I kind of want to see if AMD wants to have continuation. It is right at the top of the trend line as well. So for AMD, what I'll be looking for coming into today is a potential drop right off open down into your 162 area for a pushback towards the upside. NVDA, I'm going to be patient on this one. If it does show any sort of strength and want to break this trend line on NVIDIA and reclaim this key level, I'll be looking for a push towards the upside. But if it does want to break that trend line and show strength, we'll see, because it's kind of been consolidating for the past almost a week now. So I won't try and anticipate the break. I'll wait for a price action to develop and show me that it wants to break towards upside. So NVIDIA, I'll just keep an eye on it. It's like a secondary watch if it does want to show strength off the gates. The main watches is going to be AMD. And then I'm going to see Tesla as well, right? The key levels on Tesla are going to be the 235 level, and of course your previous day high. So any dips on Tesla, right, back down towards 231 should get bought up back towards the highs. So this is going to be one of my main watches. You can also keep an eye on Google if you trade this one for a retest of 186 for a move back towards all-time highs. Netflix looks decent as well. Amazon, if it can hold this level, will be good as well. Currently, it's very close at this key level. So if it can hold this 200 level, I expect it to gravitate higher. If it closes underneath this level, I expect it to gravitate back towards the downside. And of course, we have Apple. So coming to market open, top watches is going to be Amazon, Apple, Tesla, and AMD. These are the watches I'm going to be going into. And then, of course, NVDA is just going to be my secondary watch. I'll just have this, I'll glance at AMD every once in a while to see if there's any relative strength or whatnot on this ticker. Alrighty. If you guys have any tickers now, you guys can drop them down, and I'll go over some of them. So yeah, today, as I mentioned, half day. So half day, whenever you have these half days, a lot of times they will usually only offer that opening play. After that opening play, a lot of times price won't do anything. If it was me, I would just take this day off, right? You also have a day off tomorrow as well, being Independence Day. And then it's one of those weeks where, yeah. And then Friday, since it's kind of a tricky day, you already have a bank holiday. You have Wednesday short day. It's one of those where I'd honestly, if it was up to me, I would just take the rest of the week off. Okay. HGTLB. So this ticker, GitLab, I kind of talked about this a while ago. I think, I forget when the last time I talked about this, but really big day last week on this ticker, right? We had that mini downtrend coming into really your key levels on this ticker. I'm not sure why it's not loading. I guess I don't have any data, but yeah, right back now it's at key levels. You can see now we're trying to use this level of support, so potentially can move back towards the upside as long as it holds this 50-80 level. I expect it to gravitate more towards the upside. I don't really have any information. I have no clue why. I guess it doesn't have any pre-market data. So for this ticker, you kind of want to see a reclaim at this key level, which it's currently doing. You kind of want to see it push back towards upside. Next chart, blah, blah, blah. Damn, you guys spam the chat on that one. LULU. So yeah, Lululemon. So Lululemon, yeah, the key levels we had drawn out on Lululemon have been this. Let me get rid of this. So for Lululemon, earnings kind of just went straight back. These retail names, Lululemon been getting hammered, Nike been getting hammered as well, right? Big pop during earnings, and then you see it kind of just use this level, right? Support, resistance, and a push towards the downside. Now it's underneath this key level as well. And now it's using as resistance once again. So for Lulu, it's kind of forming this downtrend that we have coming into Lulu. We also have key levels below. So for Lulu, I'd only look for long positions if it can push back up to your 214 for something like this. If it pops up, it's still technically bearish if it's underneath 308. So I would like to see it break this trend line, reclaim this 214 level, retest, and then push towards the upside. That's what I like to see on Lulu. You can see this is your key level. I had this level marked out a while ago, right? Support, resistance. Now you want to use it as break above, use as support for a pushback towards the upside. Okay, next chart, MDB. MDB, I don't even know if this is a ticker. So this is a ticker as well. So, right, we have this gap fill that we have. You can drag this over. You mark out your earnings low, go on to the really the higher time frames here. So MDB, you can see that we have this earnings gap, and we're just inside this earnings gap that we have right now, right? Pretty big earnings gap towards the downside. The reason I don't expect this one to fill fully is because you can see the higher time frames. So for MDB, it's kind of going to be a little bit more difficult. You don't really know where it's going to bounce in the middle. You guys can draw out the middle of the gap. So this is the top of the gap, the bottom of the gap, and then your middle of the gap. So for this ticker, you want to look for reactions around the top, which is your 275. And then you can see, you kind of want to see the reaction on this one, right? It's kind of a bit hard of a ticker because there's not really much information to go off of. So it's a lot more difficult. The levels you kind of want to look out for is this, yeah, bottom of the gap, right? You just have 3 key levels to look off of. You'd have to look intraday wise for more key levels. You can kind of just draw off previous day high, previous day low, etc. Baidu. So let's take a look at Baidu. Yeah, this ticker, I think this is like a, yeah, this is like a Asian ticker. I think it's like a Chinese stock. All these ones have just been getting hammered. There's not really much to look at it. You see it's been much in a downtrend. I'm not sure if it's a Chinese stock or not, but really broke down not too long ago towards the downside. So for this ticker, yeah, there's really not too much information to go off. Look at this daily chart. It's you kind of just have to mark out these lows all the way back here. So for Baidu, you kind of want to see price now, right? Up close candles really as used as resistance for this ticker. So for this ticker, this is the area that it broke down from. Kind of want to use this level as either resistance, right? Key level, either resistance, support for a move back towards the upside, or you want to use this level as resistance and a reject off this area. How much money do you use per trade? If I'm scalping, I'll talk about this. If I'm scalping, I usually have around a $10,000 position size, risking around $1,000. And then if I have an A+ setup, I'll risk double. Half day is 4 hours trading today. Yeah, that is correct. I think it closes either at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. Either way, it's a short day today. Next chart. So AVGO. So AVGO, you can see, right, these are the levels I had marked out on AVGO. You can see this was the key area that I had marked out, right? We would have had this, the middle of the gap as well. So, right, the top of your gap, bottom of your gap due to earnings, and you have the middle of the gap. So AVGO, right, pretty big push down. It's kind of forming this like super mini downtrend straight into really your middle of the gap level. You kind of see it was consolidating around this key area. The levels you want to have drawn out, you can refine this. It would have been something like this, right? So this is what you had. So you had AVGO, and then you had the bottom right here. You kind of see it was just consolidating around this area, right? Tried rejecting it, right? You can see multiple times, but you can see it closed above, and now it's really back at the top of the gap. For AVGO, it's a little bit more trickier to trade now because the daily chart, we did break structure towards the downside right here on the daily time frame. So anytime you're looking for a long position, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. And we're also right at the bottom of your gap, the top of your gap, which is your 1652 area. So now for AVGO, if you're looking at the 1 hour time frame, if you want to see more upside, it has to hold this level right off the gates for a push towards the upside, right? This is your key level. You can see touch here, really touch yesterday. So you want to see this level used as support for a push towards the upside. I personally think there's a lot more better tickers that have cleaner, higher time frames than AVGO. But if you were looking at AVGO, you kind of want to see this 1665 level to use as a retest for a push back towards the upside. If you look at the 5-minute time frame, right, you can kind of see this coincides with your previous day high. So you want to see this level used as support for a push back towards the upside. Other tickers. Yeah, silver. Let me go on silver. I don't know if it's ticker. What's the S1? So silver and gold, these commodities actually have been doing very well. I guess not. I guess you look at this higher time frame. But gold at all-time highs. I guess silver, a little bit lagging. These ones are a lot more algorithmic. They literally respect levels. They're not really designed to. They have different objectives. Whereas like the stock market is like designed to go up. Whereas these things are not really designed to go up. They have other objectives. So for silver, all we have this triple top. So 1, 2, 3, a lot of liquidity being built up. I expect in the near future, right, it's holding down closed candles. I expect silver to gravitate back towards the upside. So if you're looking at silver, mark out your down closed candles. Order block, you can see, use this as a retest very nicely. I expect it to gravitate back towards the upside. So if you look on the 1 hour, if you look at the daily chart now, what you want to see is a break above this, right? We also have this downtrend forming as well. So what you want to see on silver, right, after retesting these lows right here, right, you kind of want to see a break above, kind of use this as a retest, and then a push back towards the all-time highs level on silver. So that's what I'd like to see. Kind of have this marked out, right? So I'd like to see a break above your 31,000 retest and then a push back towards the upside. Man, I can't even keep up with you guys. You guys are, what time is it as well? UNIFI. Let me see what are the other ones. So UNIFI HL. So UNIFI, yeah, really not much to talk about on this one. More of, I wouldn't say a penny stock. It's like a mid cap, but this ticker in very much a downtrend. If you look on the daily chart, there's really not much to base it off of because there's not really much going on. You can also draw key levels as well. Really nice pop up from all the way from the earnings back here. It kind of just sold off towards the bottom. And it's just going to come right back towards your 12 area on UNIFI. So for this ticker, yeah, not that much volume either. Look for really this level. So today, look for a potential push all the way down to your 1240 level. HL, this is another one, kind of just like I kind of talked about this one. I forget how long ago, but this is another. It's basically like a really small cap, not a penny stock, but a small cap. This ticker. These ones are all based off of news, right? Technicals, as I always talk about, technicals don't really matter on these type of stocks, right? They'll be mainly news driven. Like you can draw technicals, and then one news event can pop this up like 100%. So really doesn't really have too much to do with technicals. You can see it is breaking out of this mini downtrend that it does have. So you can see a mini pop here on HL, right? Back towards this down close candle, which is that right here. SE, this ticker right here, you can see what we have. You can just mark out the high. You can mark out really this retest level all the way back here. That was probably a weekly level. And you can also mark out this order block, right? Another down close candle opportunity. You can see it's bouncing right here very nicely. So as long as it holds this level, I expect it to gravitate back towards the upside. The levels you kind of want to have marked out now. You can see it's underneath this key level. So this is a very key level for SE. You can just mark out this. Right, previous support. Now you kind of want to use this level as support for a move back towards the upside. So you mark out your previous day high. You want to see a reclaim and a push back towards the upside on SE. Pawn W. So Pawn W, you can see Pawn W. I actually like this ticker. So Pawn W. We're right at the middle of the gap. So right at the middle of the gap, we're forming this downtrend as well, right? Big push up last week. Could really be just consolidating. This is setting up for another push towards the upside on Pawn W. So what I like to see if you're looking at this ticker, if you want to see a push back towards the upside, you can see this is a very key level, right? You can see it reclaim this level. Touch here, right? Touches here right here. So you want to see Pawn W, 340. This is your key level. If it can hold this level, I expect it to gravitate back towards that 235, right? What's going to ignite the move is a break above your previous day high. So you want to look for potential low risk add at 340. This is your low risk add for a move towards the upside. Or you want to wait for a break above 240 and then look for that push towards the upside on Pawn W. Disney, when does the trading floor close today? The trading floor closes, everyone says 1. So it's at 1 o'clock. So 1 p.m. EST. So Pawn W, sorry, I'm on Disney. So Disney, we talked about this ticker. It actually broke underneath. So we had this mini downtrend on Disney. The levels I would have had marked out. You can see here, right? So I would have marked out your top of your gap, your bottom of your gap, and your middle of the gap. You can see here we had a mini downtrend. And it just really came right back into your key levels. It never really showed any strength whatsoever, right? This downtrend that it had never showed strength whatsoever. You could see these upper wicks, rejection, right? Rejection. That's why we end up pushing straight towards the downside, which is your bottom. And then the next key level is all the way down here at 97. So for Disney, every single pop was getting shorted, right? This is also the key level we had as well. You can see we had this key level. It was trying to hold this level, never really showed any strength off this level, right? We were in a downtrend, previous resistance turned into support, right? Very weak on Disney, and then that's why we end up pushing towards the downside. You can see end up using as a retest, more continuation towards the downside. Disney now, mark out your old highs. Bam, right? Previous support, kind of want to use this as resistance. So you want to see it reject off this level and push all the way down towards 96.65. So I expect Disney, as long as it holds this level, I expect it to gravitate lower down towards your 90.65 level. Do you hold shares in stocks or ETF as long-term investments, or do you only day trade? I currently have a decent amount of shares. I have like some ETFs. I have some single stocks as well. I have Tesla. I kind of talked about this for a while. I've been in Tesla. I have I have a 178 average on Tesla. I would take days off if I was ready. It's not about that. It's like, it's all about, for trading wise, it's like understanding when to trade and when to not trade. Like trading, not trading is just as important as trading. When I mean take a day off, I would mean you can look at the screen, but there might not be the greatest opportunities. But a lot of times, right, when you have these short days, you'll see that there's not that much great opportunity, especially after a big trend day like yesterday. Majority of the times, the market's not going to set up and have like an A+ setup. So it would be better to not look at the screen, or just either not look at the screen, or maybe take a day off, or just maybe observe price action. Lots of requests for Jack. I hope you guys smash the like button. CVAC, thank you. Chinese search engine at 1 p.m. I believe. Palantir, why don't you trade Forex? Let's see what time it is. I'll go over a couple more tickers here. CVAC, I don't trade Forex just because I've been always used to trading like stocks and indices. That's just how I've been trading. Forex, a lot of unregulations. I just always been trading stocks, always in the stock market. So a lot of people that trade Forex, I mean, it's like worldwide. London session, very popular. If you're on North America, majority of the time you're trading futures, you're trading stocks, you're trading indices. But if you're international, a lot of people just end up trading Forex. A lot more as well, where there's, you can see all the things that happen with Forex, a lot more scams, a lot more unregulations, a lot of things happen in that space. Whereas stock market, everything's regulated. Everything's regulated. So CVAC, I mean, this is like a penny stock. Really not much to talk about. Previous breakdown, kind of just using this as resistance. Yeah, really not much to talk about on this ticker. It does have a gap up in the pre-market, so it has news. We kind of want to see this kind of gravitate towards the upside if it does have news. So you can mark out this key level. You kind of want to see this used as a retest for a push towards upside. Let's see other chip, blah, blah, blah. Good morning. Can you look at Dell? What time does red folder news come out? It comes out, I think there's FOMC that comes out at 2. You have to check Forex Factory. I think there's some at 10 o'clock. I think there's some at 8:30 as well, and then 2 o'clock as well. We have the FOMC minutes. So for Dell, so this is what I have on Dell. Mark out, really now it's back inside your gap. So it's back inside your gap level, right? It tapped your bottom of your range. Also held this level as well. I kind of talked about this yesterday. Held this very nicely. So for Dell, you can see price end up tapping into our key level yesterday, right? Previous resistance turned into support level on Dell, spool back towards the upside. Now it's above key levels, and now it's back inside your gap level as well. So this high coincides with your top of your gap. So this is your key level you want to look for Dell, right? All pullbacks, 45 for a push towards the upside. You can see where we're also going to form is like this mini downtrend. So for Dell, you kind of want to see price use this as support for a pushback towards the upside on Dell. Palantir. So this is the last one I'll go over, and then I will talk about my top watches, and I'll call it a day here. So for Palantir, I'm still very much bullish. It's still intact. Yesterday, Palantir. So these are the key levels I have marked out, right? Previous resistance turned into support on Palantir. You can also, there's potentially like a downtrend forming on Palantir as well, right? You can kind of mark this out, go back onto the 1 hour time frame. So really for Palantir, you kind of want to see this level hold, which is your 25, right? Price could potentially come back to your 25, and I'd still be bullish for a move back towards the upside. Yesterday, you can see pretty big, I would say, right? Just kind of holding this level, broke underneath this level. So now I kind of want to see price. If you do want to see upside, you either want to see it come back to 25, push towards the upside, or you want to see it reclaim this 26 level, which is really your key level they have, and push towards the upside as well. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go over my top watches and then I'll call it a day today. HL is a silver mining. Silver is potentially breaking out. Blah blah blah. Thanks, I hit the like button for you. What are your top picks for today? Yeah, my top picks for today. I'm going to quickly go over them once again, right? Apple. So Apple is at all-time highs right here. So it did just tap that all-time highs yesterday. If you do want to see more continuation on Apple, you do want to see a break above 220 for a push towards the upside, right? That's a potential trade opportunity, or a dip back down into 218 for a push towards that all-time highs level. Apple, Amazon is going to be key as well, right? This is also at all-time highs, right? It's basing in the pre-market, broke above all-time highs. You kind of want to see this level used as a retest towards all-time highs, towards your pre-market high as well. And then Tesla, of course, right? It's going to come back into your previous day high. So previous day high is going to be a very key level on Tesla. If it wants to hold this level, I'll look for a bounce play back towards the upside. And then the other top watches are AMD. If it potentially can come back down into your 162 level, I'll be looking for a pushback towards the upside. So top watches today are going to be AMD, Tesla, Amazon, and Apple. Secondary watches I'm going to have, right? A lot of these tickers have decent higher time frames. And then, of course, I mentioned that NVDA is going to be one of my secondary watches, but I only want to play it if it can get above 122 and break this trend line. So I'll only be interested if it breaks above, comes back for a retest if you're 122 level, and then a pushback towards the upside, right? This is based off of the 1 hour time frame. So you can see we have this. I'll be only interested if it breaks above, retest, continuation back towards the upside, right? Either way, right? Those are going to be my top watches today. Be patient today, right? Half day, right? Big day yesterday. So if you don't capture that opening play, right, be patient. Most likely nothing else is really going to set up because we have that bank holiday tomorrow. And then, yeah, hope you guys did enjoy that. If you did, appreciate it if you guys drop me a like. I have a YouTube video coming out tonight. And then, of course, tomorrow is that bank holiday. So we have that day off tomorrow. So enjoy the day off tomorrow and spend some time with your family and loved ones. All right. Hope you guys enjoy that. I'll see you guys on Friday. I was going to say see you guys tomorrow, but I'll see you guys Friday. All right. Take care, everyone.